Well, first of all, it is lovely to see your faces. I've been reminded in here of a carpool in the late summer of 1990, and 3 of the 4 people that were in that car from Louisville to Atlanta are in this room right now. Robin Jimerson, God bless his memory, was the other one, and it was Bill Leonard, David Wilkinson, and me. And there were 2 things that I knew for sure there. I knew when we walked in that room we were part of history. And I knew without a doubt I was home. And after what we'd been through, home felt mighty fine. Now, the other part of that is I've drawn the short straw to talk about challenges. So know that this comes from a heart of love and gratitude. The key line from the South by Southwest Conference 2010 is the Shirky principle. Institutions will try to preserve the problem to which they are the solution. Institutions will try to preserve the problem to which they are the solution. Corollary where I come from is when all you got is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Both principles describe our predicament. That's uncomfortable to fathom, but it's hard to refute. If we don't sense some sense of brokenness, then why are we spending the better part of a week here? Shirky's principle provides a clue to advancing the fellowship movement. We dare not consider our challenges in terms of institutional structures. We cannot look at this movement through the corrupting lenses of self-interest and preservation. That's the intellectual equivalent of whacking your computer with a hammer when you need to run a defragging program. This panel is supposed to present the significant challenges the fellowship movement faces, and Shirky's principle highlights the first challenge. We must face all other challenges with intellectual honesty and without turf protection and self-interest. To save time, I'll refrain from enumerating instances of infighting among us. We don't have enough money, enough constituents, enough readers, enough students, enough volunteers, as we've said today several times already, enough money, enough money, enough money. Not surprisingly, many groups within our movement face difficulties, if not for mere survival, then to fulfill the founding vision, or to live up to supporters' expectations, or to pull the median age of the constituency below 73. In panic, we think our sister organizations might be the problem. A common frame of thinking is this: if my organization just didn't have to share money, resources, and constituency with all these other folks, everything would be fine. Consequently, the second challenge is desperation, which is not a completely bad thing, but we'll get to that in a minute. Desperation pulls our focus away from our vision and our dreams. Desperation causes us to only see the struggle for preservation. Small wonder more people don't come alongside us. We've forsaken our first love, which is the third challenge. The fact of the matter is, we've just about always forsaken it to some degree. Nearly everyone here would say that Christ is our first love, but I wonder if future historians will say the fellowship was born primarily of Christ. They may argue our first love was convention, and we are the children of Gomer, an unfaithful mother. So it's easy for us to get sidetracked given this movement was born primarily to replace another one, and maybe not always keeping in focus that we praise and glorify the risen Christ. Failure to maintain Christ as our first love, and then to lose focus, either to replace what was taken from us or to keep struggling organizations alive, led to a troika of related challenges. These include: 1, relevance. We founded the fellowship at least in part to replace a huge convention, and the age of conventions is dying. Our constituency and potential constituency are ignorant and apathetic. They don't know and they don't care, as Bo said last night. Even pastors and churches who know about the fellowship movement are slipping away. They appropriately ask, how does supporting you fulfill our mission better than we could do on our own or with an assortment of other partners who are available to us? And why should we give significant sums to you to demonstrate our identification as Baptist? And what return do we really get on our investment? 2, vision and mission. The desire to replace a lost convention led us to attempt to recreate a full-fledged convention structure, even while denying it, without the resources to build and sustain it. And so competing voices advocate various visions. This has bulked up the size of the structure, while as the metaphor a few moments ago of the lazy Susan also has a withering effect. And then the movement has seemed to shrink from what it says it intends to do from time to time, and in so doing, it undermines its ability to draw others to support the cause. 3, alternatives. On the one side, inertia pulls congregations, particularly small churches, back to the other convention. Some seem to be looking for excuses. And on the other side, progressive churches can choose from a vast array of resources and alternatives, everything from curriculum to worship materials to, and this is the key, mission opportunities. This ain't 1978, and there isn't just one home and one foreign mission board to do the work through. I've been asked to mention my organization's most significant challenges, and I'll try to speak for news organizations in general. Let me name 3. First is readership. Denominational news organizations are enduring at least 2 significant circulation challenges: societal trends away from newspapers, and then an economy in which the newspaper is seen as a luxury. More poignantly, we suffer because our brand is undeniably Baptist, and that brand is suffering. I used to feel badly because my job was to report the news of the denomination, and people didn't like it, and they took it out on the denomination. Over the last several years, my newspaper has suffered because people are tired of the denomination, and they take it out on my newspaper because we are affiliated and identified so. Second, and related, is the generation gap. This has something to do with newspapers, and it has something to do with denominations. So we get strung on both sides. I don't believe this is irreversible, but changing the trend is uncomfortable because it demands that we do things differently. Third is the swirling vortex of change within communication technology and related expectations. On the upside, the internet has multiplied the options for telling stories. Our electronic edition of the Baptist Standard not only has printed words that we've delivered for well more than 100 years, but now it has videos and audio and links to the web and all manner of resources there that are available, and so we can do an old job better than we've ever been able to do it. Finally, I've been asked to discuss how we can help each other meet the challenges. Several thoughts. First, we can encourage each other to benefit from desperation. I found desperation to be a powerful liberator. Desperation encourages you to break the Shirky principle, to think outside of the old paradigms and to try some new things. Things that we would not have had the courage or the audacity to try if we didn't think we had to. The Baptist Standard and our New Voice media partners, Associated Baptist Press, the Religious Herald, and Word and Way, have benefited from desperation. Previously, 3 old newspapers and an upstart news service wouldn't have broken down barriers to create a news cooperative, sharing not only content but our website infrastructure, the cover packages that we put together, and the design of our papers and some staff functions. And we're all stronger for it. And we built a platform that can benefit other news organizations as well, and other Baptist groups as well. Second, we can collaborate rather than compete. New Voice Media, these 4 organizations together, is one illustration. In addition, the Standard is planning to build a new website or ministry called Faith Village, which will expand the faith of young adult Christians nationwide by providing quality ministry resources and community building tools for them. It will model and offer collaboration that can benefit every group in this room today, represented in this room today, and others besides across the spectrum of Christianity. We must be intentionally ecumenical with like-minded Christians, and time constrains me now, but if you want to see it and talk about it, just flag me down. Third, we can reach out. For example, rather than sharing our own perspectives shaped by our own interests, we can band together to do research that can inform our vision and strategies and tactics. We need to know what pastors think, for example. Who cares what we think if the churches don't buy it? Fourth and finally, we can care for each other. We need courage and creativity and imagination and generosity of spirit, which must encourage one another. We need to encourage and reward integrity and humility and passion and tenacity of priority setting. This not only means praying for and wishing each other well, it also means just possibly consolidating ministries and institutions, laying aside turf, thinking of the end rather than the means, and it means embracing hope through willingness to change and be changed.